Alrighty, guys, let's get into the quiz corrections for that factoring quiz. Looking at the first one, we had 7 problems. Looking at this first one here, you had x squared plus 14x plus 48, and they broke it down to be x and x, 4 and 12, with pluses in between. Now, remember, that's basically what we want. We want to break down the a term, break down the c term, make sure the first and last, the outer and inner, multiply, and they combine to get back to the original trinomial. Now, this one, it doesn't. While the 4 and 12 does make 48, if you add those together, 4 plus 12, you get 16 and not 14. So, looking at some of our options here, factor pair chosen, not correct because they do not multiply. No, that's true. They do multiply, but they do not add up to the correct value. They do not add up to that middle value. Let's factor it correctly here. When we're factoring this thing correctly, we're looking, again, for factors of 48, but we want to add to make 14. Those are 8 and 6. So I could put x plus 8, close it, x plus 6, close it. 8 times 6 makes 48. 8 plus 6 gets the 14 in the middle that we want. So there's number 1. Number 2, look at the same thing here. So let's break this thing down. I have s, and s. Okay, good. 60. Oh, there's one. Negative 5 times negative 12 does not make negative 60. It makes positive. So this one's not multiplying to the correct value. Now we got to rethink and try to get negative 17 out of two numbers out of 60. Okay, right away I'm thinking 20 times 3. The reason I'm thinking 20 and 3 is because I need different signs. It's a negative 60 together. So one's positive, one's negative. If I subtract 20 minus 3, oops, plus 3 there, I get 17. So that's what I want. Notice the 17's negative. So I need my bigger value here to be negative. So there's my second problem. Not correct because they do not multiply. Factoring it out, I get s minus 20, s plus 3. Going on to number 3 here. 2x squared minus 2x minus 24. They took a 2 out, but notice they didn't take it out of the middle or the last term. And they turned out to have factored from here to here correctly, but taking that 2 out, it takes it out of every single term, the first, the second, and the third. They didn't do that. So greatest common factor was not factored out correctly. Let's factor this thing out correctly. I could take that 2 out just like what they did, which leaves me with x squared. Let me write it down. Which leaves me with x squared minus 1x, and then 24 divided by 2 gets me 12, so minus 12. If I'm factoring this thing here, I need factors of 12 that subtract to make negative 1. So I want x is right, yep, minus 4. Close it, open another one, x plus 3. Notice I have my factors inside with that 2 on the outside. I'm all good to go here. So let's go on to the next one. We're looking at number 4 here. N squared minus 64, n squared minus 8 squared, n minus 8 squared. Guys, this is one of the ones I was trying to give you a hint for the day of the quiz. It is 2 terms with a minus in between, and we could take the square root of both of them. This is a difference of 2 squares. It does not follow the difference of 2 squares correctly. So we have n minus 8 squared. That's no good. That gives us the wrong middle term. So we want to actually have n plus 8 and then n minus 8. Oops. That together will cancel it out. Going on to item number 5. Y squared minus 6y plus 9. They're using the perfect square trinomial pattern, but they set it up here incorrectly. With this one here, we should have it being exactly the same with both parentheses. So we want our y minus 3 twice, y minus 3. Perfect square trinomial versus difference of squares you saw in item 4. So there's the first 5 dealing with the factoring. Then it gets into a little trickier stuff dealing with our quadratic formula. Looking at this one here, you had 3x squared minus 7x minus 6, and they're plugging it in. But remember, it was supposed to be a negative b, not a positive b. It's already negative 7, so it should be the opposite sign here. It should be a positive 7 there, which means b was not evaluated correctly. Correct error, and then solve the equation using quad formula. Oh boy, I better get a whiteboard. So with this one, solving this one correctly, I plug it in negative b, which makes that positive 7, plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is negative 7 squared, minus 4 times my a times my c times 3 times negative 6, all divided by 2 times a, which is our 2 times 3. Start simplifying some of this stuff. 7 squared becomes 49. Negative 4 times 3 times negative 6, that's negative 12 times negative 6, that's 72. All divided by 2 times 3 on the bottom, which makes 6. 49 plus 72, I really don't want to do in my head, so let's add them up with a calculator. I get 121. Oh, nice. The reason I say, oh, nice, is because 121 is a clean square. We have square root of 121, 11. So I have 7 plus 11 divided by 6, and I have 7 minus 11 divided by 6. 7 plus 11 gets me 18 divided by 6, which makes 3 as one of the answers. And then 7 minus 11 makes negative 4 divided by 6 makes negative 2/3 as another one of my answers. So take a look at all of that work there, guys. I'm sorry, let me try to straighten that out for you. There you go. I guess. What the heck? Okay. So plugging it in correctly, we did the 7 squared, the negative 4 times 3 times negative 6. Oops. Which got us to this point. Then we added 49 and 72, got us 121. Took the square root, gets us 11. Adding it makes 18. Subtracting it makes that negative 4. Oh my goodness. So we get our final two answers, 3 and negative 2/3. These are videos, guys, so if you missed a lot of what I had on the whiteboard, just pause it. You can find it again. Looking at this one here, guys, they're giving you kind of a hint with the graph. It says 1 point must be the vertex. 1 point should be an x-intercept. To find x-intercept, we got to factor this thing here. I have x squared plus 10x plus 21. So I want to factor this thing. X squared becomes x and x. I need multiples of 21 that add to make 10. Well, what are the only multiples of 21 besides 1 and 21? 3 and 7. And if I multiply those together, I get 21. I add those together, I get 10. So that means I have an intercept of negative 3 and an intercept of negative 7. Halfway in between negative 3 and negative 7 is negative 5. Now with negative 5, we're going to plug that back in and find the y value so we can get the vertex. So I have negative 5 squared, which is negative 5 times negative 5, which is 25. 10 times negative 5 makes negative 50 plus 21. Negative 25 plus 21 makes negative 4. So we want to be at negative 5, comma negative 4. And remember what our intercepts were. We were a negative 3 and a negative 7. So negative 3, negative 7. There's my graph. And that's the rest of the quiz. Hopefully that helps, guys, because it's more important to figure this stuff out than to just try to get our grade a little boost. But watch this, get this thing done. Let me know if you have any more questions about it. Thanks so much.